If you like this podcast or the previous ones, please consider buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Frankie'sPod. It just goes to help fund the software and the hosting. Hi, welcome back to the podcast. Tonight I've got Richie Wood, who joined the army in 1998 and went to 3-hour Riche. I know Richie from D Battery, just before he left the batteries when I got there. Before that I was in J Battery and didn't like D Battery, but then I went to D Battery and loved D Battery. It's fucking better than J Battery. I'm not going to admit that. I just did admit that. I shouldn't have. Anyway, they're all good. We love all the batteries together. No. How are you doing, mate?
I'm really good. Oh, that was great to see you. It's been a long time.
I knew. It has. I mean, we just said that before, and once you've gone over 20, I've run out of digits to count. So, to me, it's 20 years since I've seen everybody, because I don't want to count any further. Getting old.
I see a lot of the guys on an annual basis on our reunions. So, we have a great catch up.
Oh, you do the cenotaph, don't you? Yeah.
I do Benidorm. We used to do it in Blackpool, but we do Benidorm every year. And I tell you what, this year was just as mental it is every year. It's a really great time.
I spoke to Lee, and he's like, "Come over, get over to Benidorm, get to Benidorm," and I'm like, "Can't, I'll fucking die."
Well, Lee didn't come this year. He made excuses, so I know he'll be listening. So I know the score, Lee. He couldn't take it this year.
Yeah, he did say that when he was on the podcast that I think it was last year he went, it nearly killed him. I think his liver just like give up halfway through or something like that. Yeah, I've seen the photos on Facebook. Yeah, I'll make it one year. I will. Fuck me, I don't know if I could survive. Anyway,
I put the invite out to everyone. So anybody who's been D Battery, the dates are on Facebook.
I'll tell you what, we'll push for it. We'll try and get loads more there next year. I mean, it's good. I went to the PPMA this year for the first time ever, and I didn't know what to expect, because I'm probably the same as everybody else who was like, it's a bit too posh and this, that, and the other, and it's sit down with you and all that, and it really wasn't like that at all. I really, really enjoyed it. It was really informal. All right, it was a suit and tie and all that shiz, but it was really informal and it was good. I enjoyed it. Right, before we digress any further, let's get on with the podcast. So, like I said earlier, before we started recording, it's just 5 questions. So, if you just want to go over where you grew up, why did you join, what was it like, why did you leave, and what have you done since? So, if you just want to start off with where you grew up and why you joined the army.
Sure, yeah. So I grew up in Nottingham in a council estate, single parent family. So my mum brought up me and my sister. She did a cracking job, really, given the fact of where we were living. It wasn't the best part of Nottingham. But it was very female kind of orientated upbringing. I had all my cousins were girls. I was the oldest kind of boy in my family of my age. So I used to knock around my mates. Used to play army in the woods. Never really had any aspirations of joining the army, though. I remember sitting on a wall with one of my neighbours, and we were like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I think at the time we had some television man who used to come around and collect the 50p's out the back of the telly. Yeah. Radio rentals kind of thing.
That's cool, isn't it?
And he was on like 26 grand a year, and this was like 80s. And I was a fortune back then. I thought, I won't mind that job. That's a cushy little gig. Anyway, I got paper around at about 13. So I was always kind of working. Then started working in a car wash. And then didn't really get on at school. It was more of a social scene rather than actually learning anything. So used to go and register, jump over the fence, go home, watch telly, play on my Master System at the time, as you do. So yeah, I was never really destined for great things academically in that regard. The one thing I did quite enjoy was music. So I always went in for my music lesson, and I ditched the rest. Anyway, finished GCSEs, didn't do great in them, but got a C in music, which I was quite chuffed at. So I decided I was going to go to college and do a diploma in popular music. And I was working in a car wash then. So I needed a part-time job, so I started working at Carpet-Right, and my mate got me the job there, and then he left, and then I got promoted to be warehouse manager. So I'm 17,
I'm
warehouse manager at Carpet-Right in Nottingham, and I've got 2 blokes working for me in their 30s and 40s. And I didn't really feel comfortable telling them what to do because they were big masters, and I was just a kid, so nothing really got done. Anyway, there was this one day where the assistant manager comes into the warehouse, and we're playing tennis with rolled up sellotape balls over the top of the carpets, and he said, "You get in my office." So he dragged me to the office, and he's going, "What are you doing with your life?" I was like, I'm just bumming along. He went, "You need to join the army." I went, "What?" He went, "I'm in the TA. It'll be great for you. You need to join the army." And so I used to get bollocked all the time. So walking home from Carpet past the bus stop on the way to Trinity School where I caught my bus, and I went into Vic Centre and I passed the careers office. Lo and behold, some bloke outside giving out some mugs. "Oh, lad, do you want one of these mugs?" Yeah. And then next thing you know, I'm in there, I'm sat down, they showed me a picture of an AS90. And they go, "Do you fancy driving this bad boy?" I'm thinking, "Oh, I'll have some of that action." He went, "How old are you?" I went, "Oh, I'm 17, nearly 18 after Christmas." He went, "Well, you can either go and get a letter off your mum, or you can wait until after Christmas when you're 18 and join up regardless." And I was like, "Well, I'll do the test and I'll just join up after Christmas because I wanted to go have a Christmas at home." So I passed it, managed to get the dizzy heights of entry tests for the artillery, and that was me. So 21st of January 1998, off I went on my bus down to Woking to go to Peerbright. So what they didn't tell me was, because I think my minute and a half must have been over 10 and a half minutes or something. They stuck us all in AFC, which is 4 weeks kind of beat up before you then start your I think it was 12 weeks basic training by then. So I had to do 4 weeks of getting smashed PT 3 times a day. And then after that 4 weeks, passed it and then started 5-9 Aston Battery, I think it was. And one of my section commanders was Mags McGee, who was 3RHA at the time. So I got treated worse than everyone else because he knew I was put in to go to 3RHA. So he was thrashing me left, right, and centre, which I wasn't best pleased about. So I had a few wobbles, whether I was going to stay and whether I was going to go. Made it through basic training, went to Larkhill, did my AS90 training. And when I was in Peerbright, I said, "What regiment would I go to?" I said 3RHA because I knew there were arms plotting to Germany. I thought, well, I'd never been on a plane before. That'd be pretty exciting. So did Larkhill.
So you basically joined the army for a cup?
Yeah.
Right, and you just picked third because you wanted to get on a plane?
Yeah, pretty much.
There's reasons.
So George Lawson was my number one in Peerbright, in Larkhill on the guns. So, and then past all that, and I went to Topcliffe. The regiment advance party had gone to Hona, and the first two people I bumped into was Mick Horan and Helly Hansen, who are renowned drinkers. And Mick Horan just grabbed me straight away, and he went, "Right, we're off out in the piss." I was like, "Okay, this is how it's going to be. Okay, I'm liking this." So I did a couple of weeks in Topcliffe, and then plane was all sorted, and we went over to Hona, and I met everybody else. Obviously, met all the characters that you've got in D Battery that we do the reunions with now. And then that was it. I was 18 years old, just not long. Never been abroad before, and now all of a sudden I'm in a foreign country, getting paid. At the time, it was quite a lot of cash, even though it wasn't on the big scheme of things. And the biggest shock of my life was the fact that a bottle of beer was 30p and a shot of spirit was 15p in the Battery bar.
Yeah, crazy,
that
right?
Just blew my mind. So you could literally get steaming on a fibre, which we did very often, as you know.
Yeah.
And who would they stick behind the bar? Big Smudge.
Best barman going.
Absolutely, 100%. The nights we had in that Battery bar, we used to have C Battery lads because their bar was above ours.
Yeah.
They used to come run. They used to send down the new lads. Then they'd go on downstairs to run into D Battery's bar, tell them they can't fight. So Mountie or Roger would be behind the door. One of these kids would come running in. D Battery can't fight. The door would slam closed behind them, so they were locked in there. Everybody jumped on him to fill them in, and then just chucked him through the windows. Now, in the old SS blocks, those windows were like 6 foot high, weren't they?
Yeah, quite high.
So how we never killed anyone, I don't know. But they used to, windows would ping open and their bodies would go flying through. So the nights we had were just phenomenal.
They did have to stop doing that because somebody did get hurt.
I'm not surprised.
No, later on, they threw one lad out, and I think he broke both his arms because he was destined to put his arms out instead of just going down and rolling over. But that got put a stop to. Just going back a bit, right? So you turned up at Topcliffe, and like there was hardly anyone there, really, because you said the advance party gone over. It all started going over in dribs and drabs. I mean, you didn't really get to integrate in the battery there at all. So by the time you got to Germany, you might have been feeling a bit comfortable as a sprog. And then you hit Germany, and then
the guys I met,
yeah. I mean, I've heard lots of stories, and when I turned up with my first regiment as a sprog, you knew you were a sprog. You know what I mean? And I don't think that happened that much in third. I think that the kind of, I don't know whether it was just the guys, but there wasn't. In my day, there was like all the old grizzled full screws in the block and stuff like that, and you'd get battered by them and fucking this, that, and the other. And I've heard some really bad horror stories of them times, like in the late 80s, early 90s. But I think by the time that you'd come in, the culture had already started changing, where I think third was more of a welcoming regiment, if you know what I mean. I think I'm trying to say there wasn't so much of that. Right, you're a sprog, you'll fucking. There was like you're a sprog, kettle on, fucking get the brew on, this, that, and the other, and you're kind of waiting for the next sprog to come in so that you didn't have to do it. But there was none of the. I don't think there was any of the harshness. Let's call it what it was. I don't think there was that bullying aspect of it with the sprogs. Did you find any of that, or?
No, I think it was more in jest. It was the dance of the flaming arseholes. You're the new lad. Go on, get down the corridor.
Yeah.
It was getting the crap jobs. Yeah, it was. You don't get treated the best, but it's not. I wouldn't class it as bullying.
No.
Certainly, it wasn't as bad as it was in the 70s and the 80s when you first got to your regiment. There was no getting put in a locker and chucked down the stairs anymore. So yeah, it was changing at that point. And I had a great. I felt very welcome from the guys. I got put in G Troop. Bert Baker was a bit of a character, so I was shit scared of him.
Yeah, I was going to say, go. I'll just go back to what I said about no scary people. Yeah, rephrase that. Apart from,
yeah, but in the battery. I think I don't know a time where there's not been great. They've been really lucky, haven't they? They've had great BCs, they've had great BKs, BSMs. Cliffy Coggins was my first BSM. What a guy!
Yeah.
So and even the likes of the junior NCOs and senior NCOs, that they all had the best interest of the battery at heart. So when you were being told to do something, there was a reason why, and you kind of got that. So, but I was never the model soldier career. I'm going to do 22 years. I was just a young lad in Germany with some cash to spend, getting drunk, being let loose for the first time. So Lammy was my first. Dave Lamb, who's got to be on your podcast. He was my first number one. So he probably thought I was a bit of an arsehole, really, just always getting pissed and going out with the lads and stuff. But when I was on exercise, I put a shift in, just like everyone else. It was like work hard, play hard kind of thing.
Yeah.
We didn't have a lot to do in Germany, did we? When you weren't on tour or on exercise, it was. No. What do you do?
It was a quiet period for. I mean, like Ireland had finished for us. We'd done our last tour over there. Bosnia was kind of stable. Kosovo was on the horizon, really. I missed out on Kosovo because I was at Larkhill. We were right around that time, like late 90s, early 90s. There wasn't really a lot going on, and it was just a case of exercise, or build up the medman, and start again the next year, and carry on like that. Unless you were lucky enough to get a tour going somewhere. I missed out on quite a few. When we were at Topcliffe, like before you dropped up there, the time before for you, was we were really busy. Really, really busy. I mean, we had the island tours and stuff like that, and then there was Bosnia tours. There was a lot more Bosnia tours. But there was lots of like exercises in Jamaica, Belize, Cyprus. Cyprus, that was Carter courses and that. But like Jordan, Oman, the big exercises with the battle groups and stuff like that. They were springing up all the time, and then when we got to Germany, it slowed right down, And we were always on exercise in Germany in the fucking winter as well.
Yeah.
It was fucking freezing. I did because it was cheaper to use the ranges.
Okay.
So, that's why the Brits used to go in the winter, and the Germans and the Dutch had it in the summer. I don't know how true that is, but I wouldn't mind betting that's right.
No, we did spend a lot of time on exercise on the ranges. and we did Poland on exercise as well.
Yeah.
But to fill the time, so we it's 12 o'clock Friday. You're knocked off. You're straight to the naffy. You're picking up your crates. You're in the block party till the Battery Bar opens at 7. You're drinking all night in the Battery Bar. Then now downtown Irish bar, Micmacs, and then to the local red light bar outside of camp until the sun comes up. Get a couple of hours sleep, and then hit the oak and do it all again. So, but I was quite lucky. So some days to sober me up, they would plonk a couple of crates of lager, send me down the family event. So I take my guitar, give Woody free beer. He'll play guitar and serenade the family's day all day. So that slowed me down from drinking because I couldn't drink as quick while I was playing. So, and then I'd go to the Battery Bar and carry on drinking. So we did loads of things like that. And then we prepared to go to Bosnia then. So we went down, I think we were attached to N Battery, the Eagle Troop. And we went to Sanski Most for 6 months. Bleeding cold that place was. But a good tour. Not really much action. We got a little card when we left saying that you'll probably get cancer later in life because there was loads of depleted uranium down that mine that you've been living next to for 6 months, which was kind of nice of the MOD to admit. But apart from that, yeah, we got stood to a couple of times to put a loom out for Kosovo. But I don't think anything really kicked off with that. So that was a great little first tour and a bit of a kind of wind down into how regimental life would be then. So I'd settled in, been there about 18 months. And then they were looking for, obviously I was getting in a bit of trouble. Not a lot, but usual stuff. Drunk on parade, well, the usual bits and bobs. Falling asleep in the gun when you're meant to be cleaning it. And then they're looking for volunteers to go to Canada. So I thought, that sounds like a good little gig. Bit longer flight. Let's give that one a blast. So I volunteered. And I don't know if you remember Pakistani Saf from Sea Battery.
Yeah.
So me and him ended up going there on activation. And Sheds was our troop sergeant. So we're doing activation over the January, February, getting everything ready for when the regiment were coming out in the March time.
It was fucking cold.
We were down the bin pretty much every night, coming in late, just being young lads, kicking the arse out of it. So Sheds was getting pissed off a bit. So he was like, you go on ROPs, and the regiment were deploying. So we've been there a couple of months. The regiment were deploying at the weekend, and he said, no, I've had enough. You're not going out when they're here. Put you on ROPs. So we were wounded because we'd been doing an advanced recce party on the piss all for the past 3 months. So we were going to take the guys around all these bars around Medicine Hat where we were going to go. So for him to put us on ropes, we're not going to get to do that. So we had this brainwave. Because we were doing ROPs on the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we kind of knew the guard staff. So we thought, well, how about we go to the guard room at 9 o'clock instead of 10 o'clock to do show parades. Then we'll go back to camp, stuff our sleeping bags full of clothes so it looks like we're asleep, up it over the fence, get a taxi, go down to Medout, meet the boys out there, live the dream. So that's what we did. So we're downtown, partying with the guys. We thought you were on ROPS. Yeah, don't worry about that. So we're taking them around all these parties, we're having a great time. And we meet these trailer park girls. So some young girls, and they were like the family who lived in this trailer park at the other side of Medout. Anyway, we're all partying all night, go back to their trailer park, partying away, and we fell asleep. And we woke up and it's like 9 o'clock. And we should have been on ROPS on parade at 6 o'clock in the morning. So we know we're in trouble here for unofficial leave, if you like.
Yeah.
So we thought, well, we're already in trouble. We're never going to be allowed out again in Canada. How about we go on the lash today and ourselves in tomorrow? For some reason, we thought that was a great idea. So we went on an all-day bender again down Medout with these girls from this trailer park. We'd seen the guys downtown again. Oh, yeah, you're in trouble. Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. We've got to hand ourselves in. Same again, went back to the trailer park, partied all night, fell asleep. It's like lunchtime on a Sunday. We thought, we're deploying on the first exercise on the Monday. Thought, we are well and truly in the crap here. What are we going to do? So, well, let's go downtown. Let's have a few beers. Let's put our heads together. We'll come up with a plan. So we're back down Medicine Hat now, and the weather's starting to turn, like it's going to really snow. So we're downtown, we're having a few beers, and we think it's a good idea that we're in trouble now anyway. What's the worst can happen? Let's just see how long we can get away with for, and then we'll join the guys on exercise, and then we'll go back to Germany. So we carry on drinking all day sesh, back to the trailer park, wake up in the morning. Now the guys are deployed on exercise now, and it's snowing. So no one's happy on exercise in a foot of snow. It's like minus 30 degrees. And me and him are on the piss in a bar in Medout. So So we come up with a few scams. So this is the Monday now. We come up with a few scams to get a few quid because we're running out of cash and we're still in the same clothes that we had on when we went AWOL on the Friday. So we come up with a few scams to get some coin. And then one of the girls says, oh, I've got graduation on Wednesday. Do you guys fancy coming to it? I went, graduation? What, like on the prom thing? She went, yeah, like king and queen of the prom. And you can come to that. So I had this dodgy checkbook at the time that we acquired. I got it through legal means, but what we were doing with it probably wasn't so. So I wrote a check for this limo. So I hired a limo for us all to go to this prom. And there was no such thing as check guarantee cards in Canada at that time. It was bizarre. I don't know how that happens, but so I hired this limo, and then I took a whole family and all this entourage out for a meal, 5-star meal, make a night of it. So it was a great day. Meal, limo to the prom. Me and Tafton in the same clothes. I really should have brought newer clothes, like with the dodgy checkbook. So we do the prom. Oh, it was amazing. And then we ended up going back to this blues bar. And I've got a big entourage at this point because we've got this magic checkbook, which is buying everyone drinks. So there's about 35 of us. We're all hanging on for free drinks. And I'm in this blues bar, and I'm at the bar with this black guy, and I said, just chatting away, and he goes, oh, yeah, I'm the lead singer of the blues band on stage. I went, oh, great, mate. I'll play guitar myself. He went, coming up, have a play. I was like, oh, I don't know much blues. He went, surely you know one. I went, well, I could blag one. So anyway, next thing, I'm on stage with the blues band playing lead guitar. I'm just ripping off some Johnny B. Good thing. And the crowd's going wild because it's full of my entourage party. So everyone's buzzing. Apart from my kids being born, obviously, one of the best nights of my life. It was amazing. And then we paid for the old night with the magic checkbook again. And then we went back to we couldn't go to the normal bars at this point because we're coming towards the end of the week now. We've been absent without leave for a good 6 days. And so we thought, we can't go to the usual. The R&Ps are going to be looking for us. So let's go to the backstreet bars. And then we went to one of the backstreet bars, and the girl that Taff had been with the week before had seen us with these trailer park girls and knew where they lived and knew we were missing. So she rings the R&Ps.
Bitch.
We didn't know this. So all week, Taff's been saying, I make the best full English breakfast on the planet. He's been bigging it up. So we brought him all the stuff. The next Saturday morning, he's cooking away. To be fair, it was quite delicious. So he's away at the sink making all the food, and I'm sat down eating my breakfast. I finish my plate. I stand up. He goes to sit in, and I'm going to take my plate to the sink. And behind him, I see these Canadian Mounties running past with pistols out. I was like, Taff, he's been bigging up his breakfast. He's starving. He's not even tucked into it. I went, Taff, the Mounties are here, mate. They're going to shoot us. He went, what? So we run to the back of the trailer park. He's trying to climb out the window. I went, they're going to have the place surrounded. We have to hide. So we're looking around. There's nowhere to hide. So he pulls out the clothes out the linen basket and climbs in and puts the clothes on top of himself. And I'm like, there's nowhere under the bed I can go. So I'm just like stood behind the door in the closet, in like the walk-in closet bit. And I can hear the knock at the door. Yeah, we're looking for 2 English guys at AWOL. We need to come and search the place. Yeah, come on in. I was thinking, she didn't put up much of a fight. So anyway, these Mounties come walking around, and I can see through the gap in the door that they're coming to this bedroom, and they're looking everywhere, looking under the bed, and then they come into this walk-in wardrobe where we are. And he puts his hand in the linen basket. He doesn't find Taff, pulls it back out, and then he opens up the door. I got one. Drags me out outside, and then he says, right, where's your mate? I went, no, I'm sorry, mate. I think you've got the wrong guy. I don't know what you're talking about. And then Taff's in there thinking, I'm not staying here on my own. So then he comes walking out. The Canadian guy, officer, sees that I've been lying to him, starts filling me in against the wall. Shouldn't lie to a Canadian officer. And then fortunately, the R&Ps come around the corner and say, yeah, we'll take it from here. Took his way back to Suffield. So we were in bad books. But basically, we weren't allowed back on the guns. So we brought shame on the guns, apparently. So they put us in the MT. Now, I haven't got a driving license. So what was I going to do in the drops? Just sat there for the rest of the exercise. Couldn't do anything.
Humping ammo.
Well, not even that. It was just, I was just sat there for the whole exercise, but it was boring as anything. So a couple of the guys that were with, I won't name any names, but they were like, listen, Woody, lad, I'm knackered. Can you drive this thing? It's just like a big go-kart. I was like, yeah. He went, just follow that little light in front. Yeah, no problems. So here's me driving the drops at night on the night views. I haven't got a driving license. So we did that. So I did the exercise. And anyway, we came out, and then we got put in front of the BC, and he said, all right, 6 days AWOL, 6 days Nick. in Suffield. So I was like, yeah, fair enough. So we got banged up, and then we did our 6 days, and then we're all on parade, ready to get kicked back. Well, the whole regiment finished that point. We're all going back to Germany. Sergeant Major was there. He was like, lads, come on. I need 8 volunteers to go to adventure training, 4 weeks in the Rockies. Who wants to do it? And everyone was just pig sick of Canada at that point. They just wanted to get back. So no one was volunteering. So I'll do it, sir. Piss off, Woody. You know, you just come out and nick. You're not going. I was all right. So, lads, come on. I need 8 volunteers. Otherwise, we're going to lose our slots for next year. So I need volunteers. Who's coming? And no one's putting hand up. So he reluctantly went, yeah, all right, Woody, you can do it. I was like, yes. So I got 4 weeks of adventure training in the Rockies when the guys went back to Germany. Anyway, it turns out that the big summary of it was that the BC believed that Taft led me astray, and he had loads of disciplinary stuff before then. So they thought he led me astray. So they brown lettered him and kicked him out, and I got 4 weeks of adventure training.
Fucking hell. It's a bit harsh, isn't it?
So yeah, I have good memories from Canada. I've never gone back, just in case any of that, the magic checkbook comes back and finds me.
I forgot all about that. And I mean, people were still telling that story years after you had gone. They were still talking about it, and embellished it a lot. You'd fucking escaped. In fact, what was that? You didn't even do the exercise at one point. You actually got to the Rockies. You were trying to make your way across Canada. Type of thing. It's fucking. I mean, I think everyone should go AWOL in the army. I did twice. But one of mine was I think the first time I went AWOL was. It was only 2 weeks. I just didn't fucking fancy going back, so I didn't. And I got locked up in Woolwich for. I think I was in there for about 16 days before a flight back to Germany. And I remember I got handcuffed on the flight to a fucking Padre. So we had to fly from, I think it was Luton to Gutterslow. And I got handcuffed to a fucking Padre who was mental. I fucking couldn't get away from him. The second time I went AWOL, I did it a bit longer. I did it for just shy of 7 months. And yeah, that was an interesting time. I got married while I was AWOL. I'd signed on the dole and everything. I was fucking sick of sat in the house. But I got 68 days close arrest and 192 days soldier on. But obviously you get time off for good behaviour. I lost some of that. But off to college, which was not as bad as what people made out. I thought I enjoyed it. Thinking back, it was quite good. It was just great basic training again. It was fine. It was cool. Anyway, so what happened after Canada then? So
Canada back to Germany, and then we were preparing to go to Kosovo. So we're doing exercises. I am missing out quite chunky bits of the Canada story and other bits and bobs in there just for time and also don't like to embellish too much on some of the characters. But so we went back to Germany, and it was getting ready to do. We went to TFA. It's the time when I think the Serbs blew up at the bus full of kids as they were coming into Kosovo from Serbia, and we had to go and deal with all that. And apart from that, it was a relatively quiet tour. Again, nobody was attacking us; they were all attacking each other. So it was a typical peacekeeping thing. So we lived down at the police station for a few months, which was good. Not a quiet little tour, but I was hearing rumours that my lockers back in Hona had been broken into by one of the guys that we were living in a 3-man room. And guys that were going on R&R were coming back and saying, oh, yeah, he sold your guitar. He sold this and that. And I was thinking, that can't be right. So anyway, we did the tour. I got back to Germany. I'd signed off during Kosovo as well. I was like, yeah, I've had enough now. Because I was never really career-orientated at that point. So I thought, let's see what Sea Retreat's got on offer. So I'd signed off. Did another 3 months at Kosovo and came back to Germany. And then I came back to my room and all my stuff had gone. So I called the RMPs because they're at the bottom of camp in Hona. And I said, well, rumour has this guy that we live with took it. So they fingerprinted it everywhere. Well, if he's took it and he lives here, his fingerprints are going to be everywhere. We can't prove it's him. Anyway, fast forward, we were downtown and he was bragging that he got away with it. So he got what was coming to him. And then I got chased by them. The RMPs were then looking for me for that. So court-martialed, and then it was Colchester, so I had to go over, get marched in at 1,000 paces into Collie. But again, there's a theme here that I kind of always come out sweating the roses. That they said to me, "What did you get in terms of your sentence?" And I said, discharge. I didn't. I got soldier on, but they didn't check any of the paperwork. So they went, right, you're in D company then. So I D company. I said, okay, I'm in D company. I didn't know what D company was. Apparently, it's the discharge.
Yeah.
So you go and feed the pigs. Car mechanic courses, CV writing. I didn't get discharged. I got soldier on, but because I wanted to get discharged, that's what I said. So and I did my time in Collie then, and then
just going back a minute. I seem to remember you left something in Germany that was in a cage, and I ended up with it.
Oh, I'm not sure about that.
You had a chipmunk?
No, I don't think that was me.
I'm fucking sure it was.
I might have got the blame for it.
Because you were going to Nick. You know what? I bet I got conned. You were going to Nick, right? I said, no one can keep this chipmunk in the block. It's his. I said, I'll take it home then. So I walked in the house with a big cage and a fucking chipmunk, and the missus was like, what the fuck's that? Chipmunk.
No, that'd be one of the pads wanting rid of it.
Well, it was in the fucking block. I had it for ages. It had died one night while I was in the Battery Barge. She rang us and went, oh, Winston's died. I was like, oh, right, fucking hell. She goes, what should I do? I said, I don't know, put it in the fucking bin. There's nothing else we can do with it. And somebody asked me, they said, oh, what's up? I said, our lashes rang. I said, Winston's dead. And they must have thought it was some relation. I mean, everyone started buying me drinks. I didn't know that. I'd tell them it was a fucking chipmunk that I didn't own.
It certainly wasn't mine. I've never heard of chipmunk.
I'm fucking sure it was. I've got some false memory of it then. It's weird.
I don't think we were allowed pets in the block for the
loads of lads had them. There was fucking chinchillas in there and all sorts. Fucking, I end up fucking babysitting them whenever we used to go on leave. How the fuck that happened? Dr. Doolittle. So how did you find Collie then? Because I mean, I touched on it just now, and I wouldn't say I enjoyed it, but it wasn't as bad and as hard as it's made out to. It has to be made. It's an evil place to put people off going there. But it was okay. It was all right. It was just a mix of everyone again, and from all different units. You learn quite a lot. I came out of there a very different person than I was when I went in. I mean, literally, when I came out, the people in the regiment didn't recognise me, and my attitude to, because I was like you, I was always in the shit. I had 396 days unreckonable service, and that was in my first 5 years of being in the army. Not even that, first 4 years of being in the army. So I was a bit of a twat, let's say. And it didn't get much better after that, actually, really, to be honest.
I hope I'll come across as a lovable twat when I was in Germany, because I wasn't causing any trouble to anyone else. I was just enjoying myself.
I had one of my CRs that said this man may never go further than he already is, but will always remain a very likeable rogue. And I was chuffed with that.
That'll do.
Yeah, I was quite chuffed with that. Yeah, so how did you find Collie then?
Well, it was cushy, really, because I was in D company that I blagged. So
how did they find out, and what happened?
Well, Stu Anker said, when you go there, get 50 grams of pouch of baccy and put that into another 50-gram pouch of baccy, so you're smuggling in like 50 grams. And then when you're in there, you can just bubble out your baccy to everyone. You'll be like a don. And I was. So because we only got £5.67, I think, a week that you could spend in the shop, which was 10 fags and a couple of Mars bars. That's about it. So, but because I was bubbling out to the lads, I was laughing. So I did car mechanic course. I fed the pigs, CV writing. Anyway, I got called into the office. SUS Wood, yes sir. Unfortunately, I've just been notified your regiment want you back. I knew they wanted me back. I would never got discharged. Oh, sir, I'm all ready to go to CB Street. I've signed off as well, and I'm afraid you have to go back. All right, no problem. So back I went, knowing full well I was going back, and back to. But I only had I had to do whatever time I did at Collie. I had to do it again because I'd already signed off. It didn't count as colour service, so I had another 3 months to do, and then I was out anyway. So I officially left them, but I stayed on for about another 3 months because before. When I got back, I met my future ex-wife. She was behind the bar in the Irish bar. She used to be engaged to one of the 3-2 engineer lads. Split up, stayed over there. I was playing guitar in the Irish bar. I had this amazing gig where they paid me 450 quid a night for like 2 hours of singing. So I was just singing all the squaddy songs and getting paid 450 quid. So I did that for about 4 weeks. And then Liam, surprisingly, the owner at the Irish bar, he said, listen, Woody lad, I'm going to have to let you go. You were that drunk tonight, I couldn't understand the words you were singing. I was like, yeah, no hard feelings, Liam, no problem. Because I used to go to the Irish bar, get paid there and get free drinks off the Birdhouse chatting up. Go to Amadeus where Billy Arker's missus worked. He was my number one at the time, and she liked me, so she'd give me free drinks. Then I'd go to Mitmax where I was dating this bird behind the bar, and she'd give me free drinks. So I had it all kind of set with different locations I was going around, free booze. So I kind of left the army and handed my ID card, stayed over there for another couple of months with the girl that I met behind the bar, who was subsequently married. And then eventually we went back to the UK then. So that's my first stint in Civvy Street. Didn't even get a driving license at the artillery, so I've left with no qualifications whatsoever. So what do you do? So you go to the job centre and they go, well, what are you qualified for? I said, well, I can blow stuff up 24 Ks away. Not much requirement for that around Nottingham, so get yourself behind a bar, lad. So Anita got a job in the nightclub, local nightclub in the centre of Nottingham, and I thought, no cuff too tough here. So there was a barman's interview, and I'd never worked behind a bar, but I spent enough time with Big Smudge. I knew exactly what I was doing. So I said, oh yeah, I used to run the Battery Bar in Germany for years. Oh, all right, go and give us a little demo behind them. So I went behind the nightclub bar, poured a few drinks, did the till, jobs are gone. Yeah, you got a job. So I've got zero experience, and I've just been given a bar job in this nightclub. A couple of months later, this is how good I am at blagging it, there was a bar supervisor job come up. And because I'd done so well as a barman, I went for it, and I got it. So now I'm the same level as the missus who's been doing it for years. Fast forward another couple of months, a bar coordinator job comes up, right? And now this is a suit and tie job. You like just supervising everything in the nightclub, making sure, and all the bar supervisors went for it. They know I'd never worked behind the bar before, but the management didn't. So I went for that and got it as well. So all of a sudden now I've surpassed the missus at the time. She was raging, and all these other bar staff were raging because they knew I had no experience. So they all went on strike. So the management has come to me and said, listen, Woody lad, you're a top lad, but if I give you this job, no one's going to work tonight. So I'm going to have to take it back off you. I went, yeah, don't worry about it, no problem. So I was all right. I was in the back in the good books with the missus then. So we worked there for maybe 3 or 4 months, and then we had enough of waking up, coming in at 5 in the morning, and living your life at night. So we said, all right, let's go and move up with her dad up on the Wirral. So we moved into Heswell. Again, we were doing some dead end jobs. So work-wise, this was my lowest point because we were working together at some proper minimum wage jobs, packing baby wipes, having a proper laugh. Like they'd split us up because we were pissing about when we were meant to be working instead of packing these baby wipes or packing chickens and stuff. It was proper dead. Really, if you want to stoop so low, like in terms of career, you just sit there watching the clock, waiting for 5 o'clock, and then. Yeah. So and then I got a job down the British Legion again, not doing anything. And I went down Birkenhead for something. I was picking someone up, and I passed the careers office, and Dave Chappell was in there. So I banged on the window, and I went, brew. He was like, yeah, come on in. So he made me a brew, and we had a bit of a catch up. We went, what are you doing now? So I told him. He was like, how long have you been out? I went, just under a year. He went, here you go. Here's a magazine. Choose whatever job you want in the army. I'll get you in there next week. I went, piss off. He went, seriously. So choose whatever job you want out of this. I will get you in there next week. So I had a look through, and my missus at the time, her dad used to be a port operator in the RLC, and he came out with crane licenses, HGVs, all sorts. I went, I'll have some of this port operator stuff. He went, yeah, no drama, leave it with me. I'll give you a call tomorrow. Lo and behold, the next day rings me up. Right, come down to the careers office tomorrow, pick up your train ticket and your packed lunch voucher. You're in Deep Cut on Tuesday. You don't have to do basic training again. You go to Deep Cut, you do your driving license, then you go straight to Leckensfield, do your HGV, then you go straight to Marchwood, do your crane licenses and your forklifts. Boom. I was back in the army. Back in the army. So I've got a driving license now. I'm off to Leckensfield, do my HGV. And remember Frenchie from Sea Battery? He was a PTI at Leckensfield at the time. So, but I wasn't treated like a phase 2 because I'd been in the army for 5 years. So I was a phase 3 soldier. So you don't get treated as bad. So we used to take us all of us that are doing our HCV. You take us all out for PT for a thrashing in the morning, and he'd just wink at me and go, "Not you, mate, not you." So as soon as we run past the bog, you can sack it, and I'm going to smash these crow. I was like, yeah, no dramas. So he'd throw me out, like I'd disappear, and he'd go and smash the phase twos. So I did Leckensfield, then I went to Marchwood, 17 Port and Maritime, or 17 Sport and Pastime, as it's known throughout the army. What a
decent
job.
tug of war team, from what I remember.
Really good, yeah. So they rock up and they're like, all right, what sport you going to play? What's on offer? They went, football? I went, well, yeah, I can kick a ball. I don't mind giving that a go. What else? Rugby. And I looked around and all these massive Fijians. I went, yeah, I'm not doing that. I went, what else is there? He went, sailing. Well, what's that about? They went, well, you just go out of offices to buy you drinks. I went, sign me up for some of that. So I'm in the sailing team, doing around the island races in the Isle of Wight. We do Gosport to Villamora in Portugal on the Call Yacht. Amazing. I love sailing. It's great. It's good when the weather's nice.
Yeah.
But the thing was, I was joining up with lads that were like me 5 years ago that had never experienced it before. So I was kind of standing out, like I was just getting a job done, and I was growing up a bit. I was serious with my missus, and we were about to get married and things like that. So out of my peer group that I joined up with, I was kind of stepping ahead, if you like.
Yeah.
So I quickly got promoted then to Lance Jack. And it probably makes some people in D batteries smile when they hear that I actually got promoted somewhere. So I got promoted to Lance Jack, and we went exercises with 17 Port and Maritime were amazing. So you go into places like Norway on a RFA ship, just getting steaming, doing a few lashing watches at night, making sure the kit's lashing down. The booties go off and go and play war in the cold. You just go back inside and go to the bar. It's something else in terms of an exercise. We'd go and do a tour over America, down the whole east coast of America. Again, drop the booties off, then we'd go back, get pissed, go and pick them up, sail south again, and keep doing that for a good 6 weeks, and then sail back across the Atlantic. It was a great time. And then I thought, well, I could do my lunch, my full school, because I just got married then to the barmaid from the Irish bar. So they went, well, one way of getting your full screw is come do your skill at arms, come do your drill pig course, and then go depot. And I was like, yeah, I'll do some of that. So I went to Brecon, did my skill at arms course, did one of the last Pier Bright drill courses, and then got acting for Pier Bright as a section commander.
Fucking hell. I mean, imagine like Big Smudge and all them finding that out. You know, them lads at that time. I mean, I know most of them already know your history and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Them guys. But anyone who hasn't kept in touch with you or anything like that, especially some of the senior ranks, who had to deal with your shenanigans, let's say, realising that you had a second life in another arena. It turned out better. But that's just the growing up bit, isn't it? It's just you grew up. That's it. It is what it is. So, what was it like being an instructor at Pier Bright then?
Best 2 years of my army life. Yeah. By far, there's nothing that comes close to it. It was amazing. If I could have done 22 years there, I would have done. It was unreal, and it's a weird. Like you had Colonel Collins on there a few weeks ago that I'd listened to, and he was ATR, 2 ATRs CO, I think at the time. We were 1 ATR, and my 3 best mates that I've spoken to pretty much every day since I've left in the army in 2012 are the 3 instructors that I met at Pier Bright. And one was in my troop, the other 2 were in another troop. But it's funny, out of the artillery, out of 17 Port and Maritime, the 3 people I speak to every single day are the 3 people that were all instructors with at that time in Pier Bright. So it just, you get some kind of a different bond, really.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was absolutely, it was such a laugh. It wasn't as bad as it is now with your yellow and your red cards and you're jotting down on your iPads. It was getting to that. But it was just on that cusp where you could send a recruit over to the fence and back and not have to write a report about why you've done it. So you could get away with things like that. And all it was character building. You'd smash the crows to break them before bayonet training. That's what the whole point of it was for.
Yeah.
So, but it was so rewarding. You get to pass off parade, and then parents will buy you a beer, and they go, "How you've turned my son into a man in 14 weeks." I will forever. If I see you in the pub, I'll always buy you a drink. That was amazing. Because he's come home, he's made his bed. He actually talks to us with respect now. All those things, because when you get them, we would have all been the same when we first joined. you've got those core values of courage, discipline, respect for others, integrity, loyalty, selfless commitment. We don't have a lot of those, and they do break you, and they do install them into you. Some for real positive things. Emotionally, I think a lot of the military guys and a lot of people, the military guys I've spoken to, emotionally are detached. And I think the Army's process of breaking you down and building you back up, they don't even look at that area. But yeah, 100%, that was the best 2 years in my life, and met some great guys. And one of the guys was actually here on Friday night. I caught up with him. He had got back to his regiment before me. We're all in the same troop as instructors. He went back to one of the infantry units. I can't remember the name of it. And he basically just gone from being king to just a normal full screw again.
Yeah.
Which was a big adjustment. And he went, you know what? Nah, I'm not having this. So he signed off, and he was getting out, and he was going over to Iraq to do CP. So I'd spoken to him. I'd finished my time. I managed to blag another 3 months there. I made a deal with the OC. Basically, the bloke that was on my skill at arms course, or on his skill at arms course, failed it. So they needed to put somebody else on, which was going to take about 3 months. So he said to me, we need you to stay. And I didn't really want to stay. I'd already been there 2 years. And the OC at the time was a bit of a prick. So I went, all right, I'll make a deal with you, sir. I'll stay if you keep me on your books from the end of the next intake, which is end of Feb, until 1st of April. So as far as my regiment are concerned, I'm still at Paybright until the start of April, because he needed someone to finish off the troop when it was my time was up and my posting order was in. So he reluctantly said yes. So I finished up that troop, and then I had like 2.5 months leave, which was great. So I went back to my regiment. I just lived in the block, just chilling out every day. It was great.
It's there was some of Colonel Collins did say on his interview when he came on the podcast that I'd never give much thought to, and it really made me think differently. That time that you were there, obviously Afghan was going on, Iraq was going on, so all the kids that were joining knew they were going to go there. They didn't expect it. They volunteered to join the military, knowing fine well that within 18 months, maybe it's 12 months, some of them within 6 months, they'd be out on an operational tour, out on Op Eric, out on Op Telic, and you've got to take your hat off to for that. Them guys who were joining then knew, and like you're saying about the instilling the core values in people and stuff like that. They're no different now, I don't think. I kind of fell in, I don't know how to put it without sounding like a dick. So all those old guys think, it was always harder when I was in training, and it probably was. But when I went to the reunion the other week, I met some of the guys who were serving now, some of the young guys who were serving, right? And they're no different to what we were. The army has changed, the military has changed, but society's changed as well. But they're still, they were still propping the bar up, getting pissed with us, and telling us some stories and stuff like that. They're no different to what we were. And as much as I've interviewed guys who were 80-odd years old, and when he was talking about his time in, basic training and like the equivalent of what phase, trade training and stuff like that, and then getting to the regiment, it was no different. The stories were exactly the same as what we were doing. It's just they probably got away with a lot more than we did, that we never got caught for, but we're not going into that one. And it's
camera phones. How people can do anything these days, where there's that many camera phones around. If there's camera phones when we were serving,
yeah, fucking hell. I'm just like little photos are going round and round in my head. Yeah, jail for that one. Yeah, fucking hell.
Yeah, evidence, actual evidence.
Yeah, I'll be fucking civvy Nick for that one as well. Jesus. Yeah, it is what it is, I suppose. So did no one come looking for you at all when you were part of the regiment?
No, because I was meant to be in Paybright until 1st of April. My posting order date moved. So I had like 2.5 months off, which was a deal, because I'd done my time and I'd stayed over my allotted time there. Yeah. So Glasgow said, you need to get back to your regiment, but they had no one to cover my troop. So it was good, the fact that if my AOC was a nice bloke, I would have done it for free. And I would have just said, yes, sir, no drama. But because he was a knob, I haggled. I thought, well, I'll get some out of it then as well. And it worked out all right. And he was still a knob. So I went back, and surprisingly enough, I came off the board on that S job from Paybright. So They said, "Oh, you've been selected for sergeant." I went, "Well, unfortunately, I've had a chat with my mate and I'm off going." So Keith said, "Tell you what," he started in Iraq. He said, "Get your ass out here." I went, "Well, what are you doing?" He told me how much he was on. He said, "Tell me about the CP course that you got to do." He said, I'll get you on the CP course. Don't tell him you're in the RLC. Like, tell him you were in the artillery, which you were, but don't mention anything about the RLC, otherwise you won't pass the course." I was like, "All right." He said, "Just be the grey man." All right, no drama. So I signed off, and they went, "Yeah, you've been selected for sergeant." I went, "Thanks, but the army's changing, and I'm gonna go in a different direction. But thanks for the promotion, but I'll politely decline it." So I'd signed off again. Went on resettlement, did the CP course, did exactly what he said. Didn't mention anything about the RLC. Went, "What regiment were you?" "3HA, artillery." Okay, kind of kept it grey man, passed the course. And then I was just waiting then for a visa then to go over to Iraq to start CPing. And then we ended up on the BP contract in South Rumeila. Cash was great. 8-4 wasn't great. 8-4. It's a long time to wish your life away, but Keith's been doing it for about 16 years now. He's still doing it. So I was doing that, and I was taking out oil workers, and I was taking out crane specialists. And I knew more about the appointed person role than they did. So they were off to. I've been doing the CPing for a couple of years, and I took out these crane specialists in the back, and they were talking about this problem they had with some crane lift that was going on. And I went, "Oh, maybe try that configuration, and maybe do this." And they were like, "How do you know that?" I went, "Well, I used to be a crane specialist in the ROC, 17 Port Maritime." They went, "Do us a favour, send us your CV." I was like, "Yeah, okay." So I pinged them my CV, and they went, "We've got the perfect job for you working for Petrofac as the lifting authority. Do you want it? 4-4. I was like, 4-4. That is the gift. 4 weeks on, 4 weeks off. That is the best job you can get. For a full wage, you get 4 weeks off your full pay. So I went, yeah, I'll take that. So some of the lads were raging because most of them were ex-paras and infantry. They ain't got secondary skills. And all of a sudden, they're taking me out as a client now. So they weren't happy. So I went over to the Petrofac camp and I got the job gig out there. So I got a place in Spain so I could stay within my tax days. So it was all tax free. So I'd come home, I'd have my kids for a week. Then I'd go to Spain for 2 weeks and I'd have my kids for another week and I'd go back to Iraq for 4 weeks. And it was great. So I did that until 2016. And by which point I got divorced in when was it? Peerbright, actually. A bit missed out. So I got divorced there, kind of split up. And she went back up to the Wirral. And then when I went back to Southampton into Marchwood, every other weekend I was having to drive up to the Wirral, pick up my kids.
Long old way, that, mate.
Then drive to my mum's in Nottingham, have there for the weekend, then drop them back off at the Wirral, then drive back to Southampton. I was doing that for 2 years every other weekend. So when I left the army, I said, I'm just going to move up there. And I was quite lucky. We had a half-decent government at the time. And I got to the top of the council waiting list. I got a little 2-bed flat up on the Wirral, which was great. So then I'm working in Iraq. I'm earning all this money. And I'm thinking to myself, I can't stay in this little 2-bed council flat. There's people out there that need it. So, I'd done it all up. I had a brand new everything in there. And I rang up the council. I said, I want to hand this back. And they went, why? What's wrong with it? I went, nothing. I'm just earning too much money. And I don't think it's right that I'm taking it up. I'll go in private rent. Oh, well, no one's ever done that before. I went, yeah, but it's the right thing to do. So I'd like to do it. And so they came around and they inspected the house and went, oh, my God, you must have spent a fortune. And I went, yeah, I've got brand new cooker, brand new that. Oh, have you got the manuals? No. Oh, we can't take them then. Well, that's a brand new cooker. So there'll be a family moving in without a cooker. You've got a brand new one there, top of the range. No, if it's not got a manual, we won't be able to take it. Knobheads. So I gave up this flat, and mainly because I wanted a nice car, and I couldn't really have a nice car in that area. So then I moved to Heswell, and then did my 4-4. And then 2016, the oil price dropped, so everyone got laid off. You all got paid like 3 months' wages. See you later. Go back to the UK. So I converted then all my qualifications to the civvy equivalent, which cost me about 10 grand. And then I managed to get a job working at British Engineering as an area manager. And that was really my first proper job in engineering. I turned the worst performing team into the best performing team within a year. And then I got promoted to run the whole certification division, which was a great job. I loved it. And I did that for about 6 years. Then decided to leave in 2022. Didn't like the direction the company was going in. I thought, you know what, I could do this better myself. So I joined another engineering company and started their statutory inspection business up from scratch, got UCAS accreditation. We've been nominated for awards. I started my HND in business and my masters in leadership and management, and I passed them back in June. I start my MBA in a couple of weeks, and it's gone really well. And it's probably one of the things. One reason I came on here really is so people that do struggle or are maybe thinking about leaving the army. There is a really good life out there. Work hard, play the game. If you work hard like you do in the military without getting pissed all the time. So Civvy Street is a piece of piss. Everyone's trying to backstab each other. Let them crack on and do that. You just play your own game, work hard, do the right thing, stick to your core values. Business is especially easy in that regard. So anybody that gets out and wants to get into business, I would definitely recommend it. It's operations. It's you've got an objective. You work. It's exactly the same as all the things we did when we was on exercise. But the objective is not taking that fire position. That the objective is hitting that particular KPI of revenue from your P&L, whatever that. So you work. You're still working. You're still brainstorming. So there is hope for anyone out there. So I'm a director now of an inspection business that we've been going for a couple of years. And yeah, there's anybody that wants to get into engineering, by all means, message me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to put anyone in the right direction, give anybody some advice about what areas to go into, just to spitball stuff. So it's been yeah. My two kids now grown up. My lad's he's at university now doing an engineering degree at Harper Adams in Telford. My daughter's at college. She's doing psychology, and then she's going off to uni. So yeah, I think if you think back to 18-year-old Woody with Dave lambolicking me for falling asleep inside the gun pretending to clean the barrel, and you fast forward to 44-year-old Woody, director, just do my masters and do my MBA, and the bit in between, it should be a massive, for anybody listening that knew me back then to where I am now, it's a massive turnaround. But yeah, it's been a very drunken and fun 20 odd years, and I've loved every minute of it. It's been great, and I met some great characters along the way.
Is there anything you regret about the military? I mean, obviously, you don't regret leaving it. You don't, I mean, there's things that I regret that I did. I think back now, and I think I wish I'd done that, or I wish I'd, I mean, I got out as a full screen, and it wasn't because I was shit at my job or anything like that. It was because I was fucking unfit, fat, and downgraded. I wish I'd put more effort into certain things, and then got promoted. At the time, I did get offered promotion once, towards the end of my time, and I said no. They were going to take me from D battery and put me in HQ battery as the CIS sergeant. And nah, I don't want that, because I just thought I can't be asked. It's going to cost me more in fucking mess bills. And that was the excuse I put in my own head, type of thing. I think what it really was is I didn't want the responsibility. In all told, and now at the age of 55, I fucking regret that, and not so much because I should have took on the responsibility and it would have changed things and the outlook on life. I'd have fucking got more pension. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, which is quite important to me, my pension, than it is to a lot of people. But you're right. Life outside the army is I wouldn't say it's easier. I find it. Army life was simple to me, and civil life can be complicated. And sometimes I find it hard to deal with civilians in that they don't get the way I talk, they don't get me mannerisms, they don't get, I'm still a squaddy at heart, and as most people are. And everyone says, "Oh no, you shouldn't give in to the civvies." No, they don't understand us and all that. But it's not our world; it's their world. We should fit into that. We should conform to what they want, because there's more of them than us, and it's real life. The army's still a fantasy to a lot of people. It is that I found it hard to integrate, and it's took me a long fucking time. But I think I was just institutionalized. But I do regret certain things where I didn't put enough effort into certain things, if you know what I mean. What about yourself?
I don't think I can regret anything, because it's all led me to where I am in my life now. So that they say everything happens for a reason, but yeah, if I would have changed anything, I potentially couldn't be doing. And I do love what I do, and I'm really fortunate that I've got a lovely family and great friends. So I'm not, but if I don't want to change anything, in case that it changed where I currently am. So I don't like to live with any kind of regrets anyway.
Yeah.
You only live once, so you just make the most of it. So how many people do we know that have gone before their time?
Yeah.
I think the military teaches us that more than anything. So effectively, yeah, keep an eye out for the future, but enjoy yourself now, live for the day, and do
Live your
what
life,
makes you
yeah.
happy. Because you don't know when your time's up. So we've lost some. I don't know, we could name a few now that have gone from D battery over the past few years. So yeah, live. Take anything really. I live for the day. But you always keep your eye out on the future. I think I was quite lucky on my transition because I didn't have a military straight to Civvy Street bit the
Yeah.
second time. I went to go and work with ex-military people in Iraq do security. So I transitioned, and then I was a client out there, but I was still working with those military guys. And then it wasn't until 2016 that it was them pure civvies. And the company I went to work for, actually, they all looked after. They all had the same objective, which was this new company came out of RSA. Everyone's trying to make it a success. So there wasn't that bitchiness. I was quite lucky there because you do get in some companies and people they try and backstab you, they want to overjump you, and it's not nice. And I'm not saying that just because I've had a really good experience. There's lots of people that really struggled on that transition. And again, like you said at this earlier, it's just talk about it. Talk with someone, even if it is the milkman or whoever it is. Reach out and have a chat with someone, and it does help.
Yeah, it really does. It really does help. I mean, you're not the first person who I've spoke to who left the military and went to do CP work, and said exactly the same thing. I said, "Oh, what was a transition like leaving the military and going into Civvy Street?" And they said, "Well, we didn't. It wasn't until years later when I finished doing that job that I had to become, like, integrate into society type of thing. And they found it easy for the transition that way." So, what's your plans for the future then?
Well, I'm doing my MBA. I want to eventually be a COO, Chief Operating Officer, or a Chief Executive Officer of a big company. If not, the company that I'm doing now, grow them to such an extent that I don't need to do that, and I'll be quite content doing what I'm doing. That's the primary aim, really, for making a success of what I'm doing. So I'm working for a real great business, got a great managing director who's an ex-engineer, so he's got that military mindset, and it's I'm not in front of HR every 2 minutes, so it's great. So I'd love to kind of just continue that. Once I've done my MBA, I've done because I've had the past since I left British Engineering. Did a HND, a masters, and creating a multi-million-pound business in 2 years. I had time for nothing else. I was literally just banging out the hours doing those three. Then the HND finished in June. The masters finished. I've got my final assessment next week, which is like a completion thing. But that got done back in August. So I've got a bit of a break now until Christmas, and then MBA then starts. So it'll be another 9 months of the MBA, and then that's it. That's me done academic. I'll finish that then, and then just concentrate on making sure that the family get everything that they want in life, and yeah, look
And
after
look forward to
myself.
Benidorm next year.
And I've foolishly booked 10 days. Now anybody that's been knows 3 days is more than enough. So that
Smudge
is
stayed
really
out
nice.
there longer this year, didn't he?
Well, I think he got there Friday, went back Wednesday. So
Right.
he did the 5. So I did 7. Danny Mac did 7. Greece did 6. So yeah, I've gone for 10. So the plan is I've got a couple of days. Well, I tried this before. We used to do Friday to Tuesday. I thought one year I'd be cheeky and I would get there on the Wednesday so I could warm myself up, get into the flow, get a bit of sun. And then when they disappear on the Tuesday, I'll stay to the Wednesday, dry out, go home. Anyway, they kind of cottoned on what I was doing. So now a few of them are doing 7 days. So now just to beat them so I can get that chill out before and chill out after I'm doing 10 days. But no one will do 10 days. It's suicide.
Fucking hell, is it ever? Christ. I think I might rock up this year.
Definitely.
I will. I'll tell you what, I'll rock up and I'll bring my fucking mics with me.
Oh, no, don't do that. Don't evidence of it. What happens in Benidorm stays in Benidorm, Frankie.
Yeah. Apart from all the photos on Facebook, yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Anyway, mate, I think we've got to the end of that one then. Again, thanks for coming on. Thanks for sharing your story. I think quite a few people will be surprised at the way your life went after you left the battery. The ones who haven't kept in touch and don't go to Benidorm. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go this year. Oh, next year.
Do it.
Yeah,
More than
September, isn't it?
I think it's the 4th to the 10th, something around those dates. The dates are on Facebook, so anybody wants to go on the D Battery Facebook page are on there.
All right, that's an open invite to everyone who's listening to this from
Absolutely.
D
Yeah.
Battery.
D Battery, yeah.
Right, I'll say goodbye to you then. I'll just end the recording now then. Again, thanks for coming on and sharing your story. It's been lovely meeting up after all these years and listening to it. Right, I'll stop the recording now.
Thanks, Frankie.
Nice. Right, it's still uploading from yours. Oh, yeah, I hope you enjoyed that podcast. I enjoyed recording it. If you could just hit the like button, and also if you could subscribe and hit the notification bell, that'd be great, because it'll help the channel grow. The more people will see it, the bigger it'll get, and the more guests I can get on, and the more people I can talk to. Well, I hope you enjoyed it, like I said. Look forward to the next one. Hopefully we'll be out next week as normal. Bye-bye now.